Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and today we are going to be building this small Nordic house, which from the outside looks as though it's been pulled straight from a Scandinavian village, but on the inside it is a functional survival home. As always with all of my tutorials, here is a full materials list of everything that we're going to be placing down. Starting off with the top row here, which is all of the spruce variants that we're going to be using. We then have some other wood types just below it with 3 oak logs and then 15 oak trapdoors, and the rest is just dark oak wood, all of these variants. These 10 blocks, however, are the same as the stripped dark oak log, except they're the texture that has the same 6 sides. So just bear that in mind, and you get them by crafting 4 of these together in a 2x2. We then have 54 hay bales here, which we're using for the roof, which is very expensive, but does look good in the end. But if you don't have enough for that, you can probably replace it out for just a stair type or really any other block that you would like to. We then have 5 coarse dirt, which you're going to need 5 extra flowers to go on top of, as well as 1 more for the flower pot down here. And then we have all of our stone type, stone bricks, cobblestone, andesite, and then crackstone bricks over here. And then we have a few miscellaneous items along this row, and pretty much everything else that I'm scrolling over here are just all of the items that are going to be going on the inside, which are helpful in survival. And last but not least here, we're going to be making 3 light grey banners, a custom design that I've just come up with real quick, meant to be somewhat Viking inspired. So these are the dyes we're going to be using, and we're going to be placing down 3 of them. One final thing I'm just adding in here quickly is there are 2 armor stands that are going to display some decorative armor. So grab these as well as 2 full sets of armor to actually put on display in the house. Once you've scouted out an area to start building in, you can then grab your dark oak logs and start placing in the pillars of the build. And the first one can go down right here, and then we're going to leave a gap of 7. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on the 8th block here, we can place in a dark oak log. That is going to be the front of the build here. And then on the side, we can leave a gap of 5. Just like that, and then another gap of 7, and as you can see, that nicely lines up with the first pillar we placed down. All of these can then be brought up by 3 more for a total of 4. Once you've got all of these added in, you can then come round to one of the sides that are shorter, the 5 blocks along here, and grab your spruce stairs and have an upside down one on the top of both of those pillars with a regular one coming out of the back of it. And then basically we want to repeat that pattern until they meet in the middle, like so, and they end up with this 1 block gap where we can have an upside down spruce stair. And then we just want to plonk ourselves on top of that block, and facing outwards going down the stairs, we want to have 1 here, do a 180, and then place another like so to give you this shape, which you can then copy over to this side too. As for the front and the back, all we're going to do is grab the spruce stairs once again and just have a line connecting from one side to the other, where underneath, starting on the outer block here, every other block we're going to have ourselves a spruce trap door. So we should have something like this, which once again we can copy round to this side too. Now we can complete the roof outline by coming up to this top part here and having a spruce trap door, and then simply just alternating between trap door and slab all the way across until we eventually reach the other side. Like so, and that is the roof outline all done. We're nearly ready to start placing in the hay bales and do the chimney, but before we do, we're going to come around to one of these sides here and just place a temporary block underneath this upside down stair, and then in front of it we're going to have a stripped spruce log, cover that up with a spruce trap door, and then basically just pull this log all the way over until the other side where we have 1 here and then another one coming outwards, and once again cover it up with a spruce trap door. I think I'm going to have to chop down this tree. It's a little bit in the way. As for filling in the roof, all we really want to do is just place them on the side of these 3 stair blocks on both of the 2 sides, and then simply just bring them all the way across to over here. Now you've got the roof done, we can start work on the chimney, which is going to be made out of stone, of course. And all of the stone that we're placing down today is going to be a mixture of stone brick, andesite and cobblestone. But just for simplicity's sakes of the tutorial here, I'm going to do it all out of stone bricks and add in the texture afterwards. So we need to come to the front of the house here, over on the right hand side, to this second in trapdoor, and actually break that one as well as the stair above it. And then directly below on the floor, we're going to have 1, 2, 4 blocks with 2 more on top, and then a third one here where the trapdoor was. And then just to the left of it, we can have a stone brick stair, and then we're going to have 2 more full blocks with another stair facing inwards on top of it, and then we're going to have 1 and 2 more full blocks. Finally complete it with a campfire on top and cover it up with spruce trapdoors. If I can just reach around to the side here, there we go. That's our chimney all done, which of course will look better once we've added in the texture. Now we can start filling in some of these walls, and we're going to begin at the front of the house here. So grab your stone as well as your dark oak wood types, and we're going to begin behind the chimney here on the bottom level and place in 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 stone bricks, or any stone that you're using. Leave a gap of 1, that's where the door is going to go, and place another one here. And just on top of it, on this outer block, we're going to have 2 logs and then 2 again. Leave these 2 and then just fill in the 2 behind the chimney. So we should be looking like this. And then we're just going to need to grab 2 temporary blocks to go here, where on top we can have our stripped dark oak wood. And as you can see there, because it has this texture not on show, you get this look from the bottom, and it looks pretty seamless with the transition between the textures. We can also do the same thing just above our doorway here. Now coming around to the right hand side, we're going to place a stair in the very center with 2 full blocks either side of it. And then we're just going to grab our stripped dark oak wood, and directly above the stair here, just place that down underneath our pillar, stretching from one side to the other. And then pretty much we're just going to fill the rest in with the stripped dark oak logs here, which should leave you with a wall that looks like this. And now we can move over to the left hand side of the build here, and once again have a line of stone bricks across the bottom. And on these 2 spots right here, we're going to step on them face upwards and place in a stripped dark oak log with a wood just below it, and do the same over here. The rest of the wall can simply be filled in with the stripped dark oak logs, and eventually you will have this look. And the final side is the one round the back here, but before we start work on that, we're just going to break these 2 stone blocks and replace them with coarse dirt, because that's actually going to be a flower bed. And we can do the same over here, starting on the right hand side. We're going to have a stone block, then 1, 2 and 3 coarse dirt for another slightly larger flower bed. Full block, stair, and then full block. And pretty much on top of all of the full blocks, we're going to have 2 stripped oak logs like so. And on top of the coarse dirt and the stair, we just want to place a temporary block and then have our wood just above it. Break the temp blocks, and that right there is the final side done. Of course, with the exception of the detail blocks, such as the windows and the doorway and just about everything else we're going to be placing on them. They're a little bit too bland at the moment, but before we do that, we're going to come to each of these pillars here, and on either side have a stone wall with 2 spruce fences above it, and we can do that for all 4 of those. And once you've got all of that done, I think now would be a good time, if you haven't already, to go around to all of the stone blocks and switch them out for the cobble and the andesite and the cracked stone brick, and just add in a little bit of texture. There we go, that's looking much better, I would say so. Adding in texture is always a great thing to do. But now we're going to add in all of the detail blocks and the windows and the doors and that sort of thing. So starting around the front of the house here, we're going to have 2 flowers, any doesn't really matter, whatever you would like, on top of the coarse dirt there, and cover the front up with 2 spruce trapdoors. Just to the left of it here, we're going to have a scaffolding block with a lantern on top like so, and then we can actually head inside and have our spruce door on the back of this block right here. And then we're going to need to crouch and grab our oak trapdoors and simply just place them on the flowers and flick them up like so. So the front of the house is all done and is looking like this. Coming round to the left hand side of the house here, on this outer log we're going to have a chain with a lantern hanging from below, and then we can actually have a spruce fence gate on that spot right there, which you can open up, and it looks like some added support for the beam going across the house. We can then grab our oak trapdoors and just fill in this gap here for our window. And now we're going to make a little bit of a log pile using some oak logs and some campfires. So you just want to place these in different ways. Maybe something a bit like that can be all good. And then just simply place a couple of campfires on top. Maybe change the direction as you place them, but 4 like that should be all good. And then you can grab a shovel and just extinguish them like so to make a bit of a wood pile, which is being cut with this stone cutter here. As for round the back here, we can start off with the smaller window and place an oak trapdoor inside of it, then crouch and place a spruce fence gate just in front of it with a spruce trapdoor just above like that, as some sort of window covering perhaps. We can of course go ahead and cover our coarse dirt with the spruce trapdoors and then just fill in our flower bed and once again step inside to place in the oak trapdoors just like that. And now we can move on to the final side, which is this one, of course, and we're going to place our fence gate underneath the log there with a chain and lantern, just like we've done on the other side. Just going to grab some oak trapdoors here and line these open spots here with 3 on each of them, and once again just flick them up, making sure they're all facing the same way, like so. And now we can grab our spruce trapdoors this time and have 3 going across the top of those stone blocks with 2 on the side just like that to make a miniature table. And now we can break these 3 blocks on the floor and replace them with some barrels that you can store some items in. And pretty much we're just making a bit of a food store here that maybe the person living inside can sell some stuff to the villagers if you're making a village. Obviously I'm not today, but you get the idea. So we're going to have a flower pot in center, maybe to deposit some money into, 2 item frames either side where you can store some food products that can be sold. Bread and berries in my case. The last thing to place on this wall is going to be 2 banners that will go here, and then we will be done with the entire exterior of the build. And I'm quickly just going to show you how to do this simple banner design. It's nothing too complicated at all. If you want to come up with your own, you're more than welcome to. But we're going to start off with one of our light grey banners in the loom here and put the red dye next to it, and then we're going to grab this crisscross shape, this X with the red, and then make that and put it back in the loom. Grab the grey dye, scroll down to the bottom and pick the border, and then we're going to pull that out and put it back in, and then lastly the black dye can be this circle in the middle, and then you can switch over to a crafting bench and just duplicate them like so and place 2 of them down here and here. And as you can see, that is the banner design, and as I said, if you want to come up with something that maybe is a little bit better, please feel free to do that. I am certainly no banner expert. Like I said, that is the exterior of the build all done. We're now ready to head inside and start work on the interior. The first thing we're going to do in here is actually come to the center of this log going across the top and place in a chain with a lantern hanging down from below. That right there, with the addition of this one outside the door, will actually be enough to stop mob spawning entirely, so you don't have to worry about that. But next up, we're going to go ahead and get rid of all of the blocks on the floor and replace it all with dark oak planks. Next up, we need to make the ceiling look a little bit better. So the first thing we're going to do is actually fill in this spot here with a bunch of barrels that you're actually going to use to store your items. And then underneath all of the hay bales that are remaining, we're going to have some upside down spruce stairs. And you can do the same on this side too. Just make sure the barrels are actually facing downwards. We're going to build our enchanting setup on this wall, the one with 3 trapdoors as opposed to 6, and we're going to start off with our bookshelves here with 4 just like that and 1 in the center. And then we're going to have 3 like this on either side. Unfortunately, this trapdoor does get covered up, but it doesn't really look too bad from the outside, at least I don't think so. But now we can grab our anvil and just place that in the center here with our grindstone on the left hand side. Unfortunately, we can't have anything here because the trapdoor is actually occupying that space. But of course we need our enchanting table in the center here, which will be enough to get you 30 levels with these 15 bookshelves. And then finally we can just have our 2 armor stands in the corner where you can put some armor on them. A full suit of netherite may be a bit expensive if you're just looking to display it, but I do think it looks pretty cool. But obviously any armor type is fine. I've just gone with chainmail and netherite, as I said. But next up, we're going to make our furnace setup over here underneath the trapdoors. So we're just going to have a furnace, smoker, and blast furnace. Of course, you could switch up the order of these, or if you just want to have all furnaces, entirely up to you. And then we're going to do a 180 here, and just next to this coarse dirt, we're going to have a crafting bench. And then turn around again, next to the furnace, we're going to have a cartography table with a smithing table on top of it, or vice versa, it's up to you. And then lastly, over in this corner here, we're going to have a loom. But we don't want this texture facing forwards, we actually want to turn around and place it like this, so that we get this texture on the sides. Those 4 pixels right there is actually an addition to my custom texture pack, but generally the side of a loom looks like a set of drawers. One thing I want to mention here quickly is you can actually access the stone cutter here from the inside if you happen to have some stone to cut. On top of our smithing table, we can have a brewing stand, and on top of the loom, we can have an ender chest. And then finally, just in front of the cartography table here, we're going to stick our bed to sleep in and just cover the side up here with some dark oak trapdoors. Again, they look different in my texture pack here, but should look virtually the same in vanilla. And the final thing to place down is our banner design on that spot right there. And the interior is now done. Which of course means the entire tutorial is done as well. So thank you guys ever so much for watching this one. I really hope it helped you out and that you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.